In recent seasons, there has been an increase in the amount of series that revolve around the necessity of having two people who have some kind of innate compatibility with one another, which was mirrored in the Hollywood movie Pacific Rim. Two souls who are connected somehow, and in some, as of now, undiscovered way. Magic! Or simply because why not? Mecha are once again represented here with the show Buddy Complex, where being buddies can be pretty complex. The story begins with a robot pilot falling through a gateway through time to the year 2014, and on the hunt for Aoba Watase, a, yes you guessed it, normal high school student. He is sat next to a girl by the name Hina, and over the course of the first outing, his world has completely changed. She is from the future and has been sent back to protect Aoba from harm, and she does so with style, and a stylish looking robot hidden away. She too travelled back in time. There's a lot of fighting and both Aoba and Hina are sent back through the gateway and into the future, but Hina doesn't join Aoba, and instead he wakes up inside a giant robot in the future time with no clue what's going on. From that point on you can guess what's going to happen, but at first you're left as confused as poor Aoba. Why is he in the future? What's he doing inside a mech? Well, maybe not that second part because you need to take a look at who made this production. Sunrise. Yes, Sunrise. The makers of Code Geass, Big O, and Outlaw Star to name a few. Sunrise breathes giant robots. They have made some of the most iconic shows of the past 20 odd years. If you want a good mecha show, Sunrise is your best port of call. With Buddy Complex, it does a fair job at living to its aesthetic heritage. The robots look as they should do, but they seem a little bit samey, like it's following a blueprint of how to design a giant robot. Don't get me wrong, the designs are cool, and they make a good job at leaving their marks in the annals of robot history, but neither do they scream out at you and leave an impression. You could almost say that it's simply alright. In the mecha genre, it's imperative to stand out. Be loud, be mad, be awesome! Gurren Lagann and Gundam do both of those with flair and poise, which has ensured both series that they will be remembered for years to come. Buddy Complex follows the formula, but doesn't add a pinch of anything, so it doesn't excel at anything. It's okay. Is that bad? Not really, but if you want to get behind something, you need to be wowed and inspired, not just satisfied. The story though is a little better. There are some good twists and turns to save you from being disappointed with the design of the robots. The whole nice coupling gimmick is kinda cute, and enough for a bit of a giggle considering that Aoba and Dio initially can't stand each other. Aoba himself is a little dim. There are times in the fights that he just stands in place and shouts questions at people, hoping that someone will shout some exposition back, but he gets there in the end. The rest of the cast are decent enough with a nice mix of chirpy, strict and tired generals or soldiers. It's enough to keep you interested, especially since you want to see what Dio has to do with Aoba. That's one thing I'll give the show kudos for. It keeps you curious. You want to know what's going on because it's gnawing away at your mind and leaving you clamouring for your itch to be scratched, so to speak. When it comes to the overall animation package, this is Sunrise we're talking about here, and it's going to be good. And it is. The shading, artwork, animation, and detailing are all high-tier stuff. In my opinion, I'm constantly reminded of Code Geass when I look at the eyes of nearly every single character. It shares the same shape and shading, and so I expect some elaborate and over-the-top gesture to occur at any second. But I don't get any of that. Buddy Complex is a little more middle of the road in that regard. It's not a cookie-cutter series. It has enough intrigue to keep people interested, at least in the medium term. But you can see some plot points from a mile away, and you can guess how said points will be resolved. Also, I get the impression that Sunrise has to make at least one giant robot series a year in order to keep itself from going stale, and that this show is simply there to fill in a creative hole and satisfy its audience and board members. It does have a strong creative team behind it, and here's hoping that this show can make a name for itself in the long run. Buddy Complex is available to stream at Funimation.com. My rating? Continue. It's worth checking out and seeing if it floats your boat. If you like what you heard, please visit my Patreon campaign to help grow Anifile at patreon.com/MasakoX.